Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers already showing a ton of faith in LB Peyton Wilson. The Pittsburgh Steelers continued OTAs on Thursday on the south side of Pittsburgh as the trek to training camp is really beginning to kick into full gear. One of the players with a lot of eyes on him is rookie linebacker Peyton Wilson out of North Carolina State. The Steelers drafted the consensus top linebacker in the 2024 NFL draft class with the 98th overall pick after he slid due to injury concerns. However, Wilson has consistently reiterated that he feels great and that his body hasn't held him back in 2 years. He backed that up with how he looked on the field, and it seems that the Steelers are trusting him a lot early on. During team drills, the Steelers went into their dime package and left Wilson on the field as the lone linebacker. I asked Wilson about it after practice, to which he said he was grateful for that type of responsibility. "Yeah, it's great to have that type of trust and faith put in me in that kind of situation," Wilson said. The rookie also touched on his running mates at the linebacker position. "This group as a whole, really, with PQ, Patrick Queen, Elandon Roberts, and Cole Holcomb, this can be a really special group." Queen was asked about Wilson after Wednesday's practice, to which he gave him a ton of praise. "Athlete," Queen said emphatically. "He's got that mindset. You can kind of tell the way he talks. He's a really smart player, that's the type of guy you want in your room." It seems that everyone, coaches and players, think very highly of Wilson already. His potential is out of this world, as is the linebacking unit as a whole, with all the star power it possesses. Mike Tomlin addresses Steelers' controversial decision to decline Najee Harris's fifth-year option. One would think that a probable staple to the Pittsburgh Steelers' offense for the coming years is Najee Harris. He was blazing right out of his rookie campaign and has been big for Mike Tomlin's squad. However, Omar Khan and the rest of the front office has not quite decided if they want to keep him. They have not drafted anyone at running back for the NFL draft, which is why they could be retaining him. However, members of the organization have remained shut about why they declined their fifth-year option as well. So, what's the situation? Will Jaylen Warren be the next man up? It's quite confusing if the Steelers want Najee Harris to test out his value in the market or if they want to immediately retain him. However, Mike Tomlin outlined that there are a lot of factors for why the organization made the call for their running back, via 93.7 The Fan. It can reflect a lot of things, but there's probably some depth to those waters. Sometimes it's positional related and things of that nature. There's a business component of this, of all decisions that we make. So, there are layers to it. I'm not gonna try to characterize it in simplicity, that would probably be inappropriate, the Steelers' head honcho declared. Mike Tomlin might be echoing the same sentiment as Omar Khan. The Steelers could be moving on eventually from Najee Harris as well as trying to develop Jaylen Warren in their offense a bit more. After all, they got more help from a schematic mastermind in Arthur Smith as offensive coordinator. Omar Khan is leaving it up to the Steelers' coaching staff to decide whether they think Harris still fits into the offense. Else, they can probably shop him to other teams rather than make him hit free agency down the line. For a running back who notches more than 1,000 rushing yards per season, the Steelers are likely getting a hefty package or could just straight up trade him for another win-now star. The Steelers' general manager was very vocal as to why they haven't picked up Harris's deal just yet. "We have until the first week in May to make a decision. We have a new offensive coordinator, so that's gonna play into the decision-making process. We're having conversations with Arthur. It's been great. We've been engaging frequently, Coach Tomlin and Arthur and we've kind of been talking about the offense and what the vision is for it. And we think very highly of Najee and we'll make the decision before May 2nd, he said. Harris put up 1,035 rushing yards while attempting to start up the Steelers' run game 255 times. His efforts have netted the squad a 4.1 average gain while also helping them speed to the end zone 8 times in the past season. All of these are invaluable numbers that other squads may want if the Steelers don't pick him up. Regardless of the decision, Jaylen Warren should be getting ready in case negotiations lead to a holdout. New York Jets send Mike Williams to the Steelers in ridiculous trade proposal. You know you're in the middle of the NFL offseason when you start seeing absurd trade proposals like the one we're about to discuss. Just as a quick warning, no, the New York Jets should not and will not trade Mike Williams. The Jets signed Williams to a one-year contract worth up to $10 million this offseason with the hope he could provide Aaron Rodgers with another much-needed weapon. The expectation is that Williams, who is recovering from a torn anterior cruciate ligament, will be ready for the start of the season. He's not expected to hit the practice field until sometime during training camp, but if you ask Bleacher Report's Joe Tanzi, he may never put on a Jets uniform. Tanzi recently proposed 3 shocking trade ideas for the Jets this offseason, and one of those ideas involved the Jets sending Williams to the Steelers in exchange for a 2025 third-round pick. Why would the Jets do that exactly? That part remains unclear. It's easy to see why the Steelers would be interested. Williams has 2 1,000-yard seasons under his belt and, when healthy, is still one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. The point is, the Jets have no reason to consider a trade. The Jets are trying to compete for a Super Bowl in 2024, which makes it absurd to propose trading a key piece of their offense for future draft capital to build for the post-Rodgers era, as Tanzi suggests. Williams hasn't even had the opportunity to step onto the Jets' practice field yet. Why on earth would they trade a player who should be an integral part of the team's receiving core for a future draft pick? Tanzi insists Williams could become expendable if rookie Malachi Corley or other young receivers develop, but there are several problems with that assertion. For starters, Corley and Williams don't even play the same position. While Williams is expected to be the Jets' starting X-receiver, Corley projects more as a slot target in the NFL. Corley is not a replacement for Williams, nor is someone like Xavier Gipson. If the Jets were to trade Williams, they would realistically be counting on players like Allen Lazard, who was statistically the worst wide receiver in football last season, or Jason Brownlee to take his place in the starting lineup. That's not exactly a wise strategy for a contending team. Tanzi's claim that the Mike Williams era in New York may not last long is completely absurd and devoid of any factual basis. In short, it doesn't make sense. The Jets are not trading Mike Williams. Consider this proposal an unnecessary talking point in the offseason. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Mike Williams? Leave your opinion in the comments.